So the first step in setting up your development environment is to download the Android SDK. So we can see here from the SDK page, I have options for Windows, Mac, and Linux. And in this first movie, we're going to focus on Windows. Now you have two options here. You can download this zip file, or you can download an installer. Now, it's definitely recommended to download the installer because it does a lot of things behind the scenes to set up your system for you. So I'm going to click on this, and it's now downloading. And when it's finished, we're going to install the SDK tools. Okay, so it's finished downloading. Now, again, depending on which browser you're using, it's going to download to a different location. I'm in Google Chrome here, so I'm going to go into my downloads folder, and we can see the installer. So I'm just going to go ahead and run that to start the installation process. So we're going to go through, we're going to click Next. Now, one of the things we can see here that it tells us is it hasn't found the Java development kit. So we need the Java development kit in order to use the Android SDK. So let's go ahead and do that next. So we're going to visit java.oracle.com. And what we're going to want is the JDK. So I'm going to click JDK here. The JRE is not enough for Android development. We actually need the JDK. And you're going to want to choose, obviously, the one for your platform. So I'm running Windows 7 64-bit. So I'm going to click this. And we must accept the license agreement. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's go ahead and download that. Okay, so it's finished downloading. So I'm going to go back to my downloads page here. And we're going to install the JDK. And we'll click Next. And we're just going to leave everything at the default. We're not going to go in and uncheck certain features. Just safer to install everything. So now we'll wait for this to install. Okay, so now it's asking us where we want to save this to. I'm just going to leave it at the default here. Click Next. And now it's going to take us through the installation process. Okay, so now we can see the JDK has been successfully installed. So I'll click Finish. And now we can see we're probably going to have to restart this. Actually, let's just click back, and then we can click Next. And now we can see that the JDK has been found. Click Next again. Now it's asking us where we want to install the Android SDK tools. Again, I'm going to leave it at the default, which is in Program Files, Android, and then Android SDK. We're going to just, again, leave everything here at the defaults. And click Next. And now it's asking us, do we want to start the SDK manager? Definitely do. So click Finish. So when this first pops up, you're going to get this window here that's actually going to ask you which packages to install. So for right now, just click Cancel, because we're going to come back to that in another movie. So what the Android SDK tools are is just that. It's a set of tools that manages all of your SDKs, platforms, and virtual devices, otherwise known as emulators. So you can see here under installed packages, so far we only have the Android SDK tools. So now we don't have any of the actual individual SDKs like the Gingerbread, Froyo, any of those things. We actually have to download those separately. But a quick walkthrough here, we have virtual devices, again, which are emulators, which we can create for, different sizes, different targeted platforms. Available packages, this is where we can download specific Android SDK versions. So here we can see the Gingerbread SDK, which is the one we're going to be targeting in this course. We can also download samples and other things. Again, we're going to get to this in another movie. And then we have settings here. One of the things that you should check off is force HTTPS. So we're going to go ahead and click that, and there we go. So again, that's all we have to do to install the Android SDK tools on Windows.